But the fact is that the Tamil Tigers, including Prabhakaran, were trained by the Indian Army. This rare photograph shows LTTE guerrillas training at Kalasur, Salem in Tamil Nadu in 1984-85. Senior LTTE leaders told CNN-IBN that they were recruited by India's intelligence wing, RAW, and trained by the Indian Army.
Terror and terrorist outfits. It's like riding a tiger. That one day or other, it's bound to hit you when you least expect it to hit you.
One lakh civilians displaced in 48 hours, 18,000 in one night, and over 10,000 still trapped in the war zone. As the numbers grew taller, so does the crisis. Aid is falling short. There's not enough shelter for the thousands rendered homeless, seen here cramped in camps in Poor Lankans and west of Pudumadhalan.
More than 75,000 have already arrived.
In among those thousands arrived the bruised and battered LTT top brass. Their master and George, top LTT leaders, surrendered to the troops in Pudumadhalan along with their families. Over 60 years old, George was LTT's slain political head Tamil Selvan's translator during interviews. He was a retired government official as well. 53-year-old Velayudham Dayanidhi, alias their master, was LTT's spokesperson and media in charge, responsible for arranging media interactions with LTT leaders, including Prabhakaran. With this, close to 3,000 rebels have surrendered since January. Further isolating their chief Velupillai Prabhakaran, hunt for the most feared of them all is still on. The army has launched multi-pronged assault, closing in on the LTT Supremo in the 12 square kilometer strip. Armies 55 and 58 Ramadam. But what Colombo calls a rescue operation, the world sees it as hostility. International calls for truce are growing. India has called for an immediate ceasefire, even as it dispatches tons in aid. New Delhi is aware that if not checked, a sea of humanity displaced just few miles away from its shore could soon spill over into a refugee crisis on its side. Atishay, CNN-IBN. Human shield was gone. The clock was to 15,000 young men have been given a crash course in Bavania by the LTT to fight the army in the final assault. Thousands of landmines still await army boots.
He is the founder of OFFER, the Organization for Elam Refugees Rehabilitation. Mr. Chandrahasan, we're looking at those pictures of tens of thousands of people fleeing.
Relook that should be as quickly as possible.
Right, and apart from the political call for ceasefire we're seeing in Tamil Nadu, what about the fallout of this kind of a refugee crisis, if you like, on Tamil Nadu? Are you likely to see many more coming across to Indian shores?
Many more are expected to come. It's a question of logistics, whether they can make it. There have been several messages coming in, and there was also information that a large number of boats set out to come over to India, but they were intercepted by the Sri Lankan Navy and taken into the government-controlled areas. There have been 3 boats that have come, and they say that people would prefer to come to India because they are not sure that they would be treated fairly if they go into the government-controlled areas. The persons who come, you will see, are mostly the elderly, the women and children, and the younger people are very apprehensive about going into the government-controlled areas.
How